Okay, so good morning. My name is Russell Miller, and I'm the course director for BAs in design marketing, art direction, and curation, exhibition, and events. So I'm going to tell you about those courses, what kind of students we'd like to apply, and what kind of work we'd like to see on application. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why I was brought into Kingston School of Art to run these degrees. I started as a graphic designer working in digital in 1996. I've been an art director. I've worked for Radio 1, BBC Radio 1, News International, DMGT, and then I was a studio owner making digital products for brands like Sony, BBC, IKEA, MTV, people like that. So I have a long career in the creative industries. Latterly, I'm an artist and a curator. I did my master's at UAL in Fine Art Digital. So the two strands of my practice covers all of the sort of outputs on these three courses, namely design for marketing, art direction for advertising, and curation. So I'm going to give you a couple of stats. This is a report by Sir Peter Bazalgette on the creative industries. He's looking forward to the next 20 years, basically in terms of growth and economy. Creative industries in the UK are extremely important. And they're only getting bigger. So we're looking at a 3.9% increase in, I think we're on about 90 billion per year at the moment, and we're going up to about 130 billion by 2025. So very robot-proof, expanding area where there's a jobs being created all the time. So the ethos of the creative and culture industries is that we produce graduates that are able to have a long and sustainable creative career. So I went to art school in 92. I started working in advertising in 96, creating CD-ROM content. And then last year I curated BBC Radio 1's Glastonbury coverage on Instagram. So my 20 odd year career has been possible by going to art school, and that's the ethos of these courses, that we want to create students that can navigate creative and technological change over the decades. So it's a collaborative set of courses. We experiment, and we're studio based. So there's a sprinkling of theory, a bit of business, but they're studio based making courses. So we would not write a report about a product launch. We would make the product and launch it. So we want to make creative students with a commerciality. So on the courses, there's the academic side, but we also work a lot on live briefs. There's a real engagement with the industry, so our students get professional experience with brands, agencies, and businesses. So basically, you'll understand why you're designing a product or a brand, identify the problem, research it, understand your audience, and create a solution. This is the kind of activity that my students get up to. So as well as collaborating, working on live briefs, we're exploring London, we're immersing ourselves in the culture of London, watching films, visiting galleries, going to see bands, as well as all the studio work that we do. So the three degrees that make up the Creative and Cultural Industries department are in art direction, design marketing, curation, exhibitions, and events. So all three of the degrees share a year one, where everybody learns principles of design and the history and context of the creative industries. Students start learning how to respond to a brief, how to pitch to a client, how to come up with ideas, and how to collaborate with each other. And as I mentioned before, there's an immersion in London's cultural scene. So art direction, in year two, you specialise in one of the three degrees. So art direction is primarily concerned with the advertising industry, creating campaigns, but also content creation for brands. Design marketing is about digital user experiences, supporting existing services, but also launching startups and product design. So, for instance, our students could make a chair, brand it, and market it. That would be the kind of activity that you do on the design marketing course. Curation, exhibition, and events is quite self-explanatory. It's concerned with live experiences, and that's across physical and digital spaces. So, for instance, we've bought some VR kit, some virtual reality kit, Oculus headset, and we're going to be looking at curating events happening simultaneously in a physical space, in a room, but also in a digital space. And we're engaged with these technologies because it's becoming more and more prevalent in curatorial and exhibition and events. So I mentioned live briefs briefly earlier. This is an integral part of all three of the courses. So as well as the academic work, we have a stream of live briefs from industry. So recently we've worked with the Science Museum on ideas for how to reveal more of their digital collection. We had a client in yesterday who briefed my students on creating short form videos for Facebook to advertise their products. And we're working with a retailer in the new year on an Instagram project. So there's a lot of interest in the kind of students that come onto these courses from brands. They want ideas from young people, and the reciprocal part is our students get to work with a industry person and start making those connections from day one, so that after 3 years our students are networking and being able to have a targeted folio of work, knowing what industry they want to go and work in. Similarly, hacks, brands come in and work with us for a day, generating ideas, again, because they want to work with millennials, want to work with young people who engage with technology and creativity in a different way to agencies do that they would spend their money with, so they come to us instead. We get a lot of guest speakers coming in. This is to expose our students to the myriad of jobs available in the creative industries. So we don't just talk to advertising people and marketing people and curators. We have strategists, content creators, coders, producers, account managers, marketeers, etc. And also people who come in say 2 years' time, and that job doesn't exist at the moment. I think there's a statistic where I think 40% of all creative industry jobs in 5 years' time don't exist at the moment. So the jobs are created all the time in this industry, and we're going to train our students to be able to react to the market as technology changes. So internships and mentoring. We have a mentoring scheme. So at the start of year 2, when the student chooses their speciality in one of the 3 degrees, we will match them with an industry-specific mentor. And you will meet several times a year and talk about your work and your ambitions, and help you start steering yourself into a place of employability. At the end of year 2, there's a summer internship program where we have a team at Kingston School of Art that will help you find the right internship for the right student, but also the activity I spoke about earlier in terms of guest speakers and live briefs. These are other ways where students get to meet potential employers or potential places where they can intern. So I did it at my last place of employment before I joined Kingston, and it really works. You know, you see those relationships start from day one, where students will, do a hack, and then they'll get in touch with the client, over the summer, and they will take them on. So there's a myriad of ways of meeting people in industry on this course. Another networking opportunity is myself, my team, and all my students join the Creative Industries Federation, which are a lobbying group for the UK's creative industries, and you'll be attending seminars, conferences, networking events, launches, etc. So it's really the heart of the UK creative industries, and you get to go meet a lot of people that are working there. So we have a Instagram site, which I'll give you the address for at the end, where you can see the kind of activity that my students get up to in the studio, and the kind of guests that we have in, and the kind of work that we create. And it's important that this is run by the students, because it's their view of life at Kingston School of Art. So it's very real. I don't contribute to this at all. So URLs. That first one is how to apply for the 3 courses. The second is my email address, which I'm very happy to take emails. And the Instagram site there is CCI-KSA17. So in terms of how to apply for the course and the kind of people that we want, we need to see evidence of creativity, but that is not a traditional portfolio. So we will look at Instagram feeds, YouTube channels, photographs, drawings, music videos, music itself. Some evidence of creative output is what we're looking for with our students, and really a sort of can-do attitude, where a sort of punkish spirit of getting on with it and making products, ideas, and design. So we're not looking for perfect portfolios of logos or social media campaigns. We're just looking for some sort of passion for creativity and a desire to work in the creative industries and be a creative person. So that's it from me. Thank you for listening. I'd be really happy to take any questions that you have about the 3 courses.
Okay, any remaining audience out there, thank you very much for attending today's webinar. Please feel free to send Russell any further inquiries or questions that you've got to the email address that you see on your screen at the moment, and feel free to jump onto the website and have a look at the course details. But finally, from me, we're just going to send you that link to the webinar recording. And thanks once again for attending. That concludes the webinar.